I'm Gordon Fuglie. For the past 25 years, I've been a curator of contemporary art exhibitions on the West Coast. Art curators track developments in the art world. Around 2000, I noticed that abstract art had a small place in the American art scene. Abstract art, as you may know, is an expression that is not merely content to represent objects in the real world. Recently, however, abstract art has enjoyed a resurgence, especially on the West Coast. This resurgence of abstract art, however, is not a revival of European abstract art from the early 20th century or American abstract expressionism from New York in the 1950s, or its successor, post-painterly abstraction from the 1960s and 70s. The new abstraction draws its influences from a number of areas: pop art, the custom culture of automotive, skateboard, and surfing enthusiasts, contemporary graphic design, the urban landscape, and the continuity of West Coast hard-edge painting. In 2008, I encountered the paintings of Santa Barbara artist Peggy Ferris. I was especially taken with her approach of working simultaneously in two different directions. Her hard-edge paintings of dynamic shapes that created their own visual language, and her loose gestural paintings that are inspired by urban architecture. Whether hard-edge or gestural, Peggy Ferris's work gives form to her emotional responses to contemporary life. You began your art studies at a time when conceptual art was on the rise, and that didn't appeal to you, so you chose to study design instead. After many years of a successful design career, what impelled you to take up painting?
Basically, as artists and designers, we have just this enormous amount of creative energy that wants to manifest. And after being a graphic designer for 20 years or so, I had done everything I could possibly do to the printed page. And I just needed some new tools to work with. And I realized that with painting, I could invent my own language, do whatever I wanted to do. I could set up problems and resolve them in any way I wanted to, and have fun with it, and not have anyone I had to please but myself. So this was very appealing to me, and I just started playing with it. It was, at first it was a way to sort of de-stress and just enjoy things. And then I just got so deeply into it, one thing led to another, and there was just no turning back.
Of all the directions you could have chosen, why did you pick abstract art at this time?
If you think of a representational painting as a work of art that tries to literally depict an object, I see abstract art as representing the energy of something. It could be, whether it's a memory or a place or an experience. I'm not trying to duplicate it, I'm just representing the energy of that. And that process is very interesting to me. It's a much different and to me, more intriguing process. I find myself so drawn to it because there's a mystery to it.
How has your long experience with graphic design influenced the composition of your hard-edge paintings?
As a graphic designer, we have a very linear process. It's very creative, but it's a step-by-step process when you're designing something. And I like that. You're solving problems, and it's a very rewarding process. Now, when I started transitioning into painting, I was a little tired of graphic design, and yet that process was still really embedded in me. So I think without even thinking about it, I developed a process of painting that was also very linear. It had a definite beginning, middle, and end. My hard edge pieces are conceived through a combination of sketching and working in Photoshop. And similar to graphic design, before the job goes to the printer, you know what you're going to get. Well, before I even begin painting these pieces, I know exactly what it's going to look like. And that, to me, made all the sense in the world. And I had this kind of linear process. I would design my painting, I would get my swatches, I'd figure out my colors, I would blow up my line drawing and transfer it to a canvas, and then basically I would color between the lines, and it was really fun, and you definitely know when the painting is finished.